Welcome back to the weekly Defuse, where we're recapping all the biggest happenings of this week in Valorant and what to look forward to for next week. We're recording this on Wednesday, March 29th, and on this week we got North American Challengers mid-season face-off closing in the finals. We got the start of International VCT and Women. We'll get to that one a little bit later. I'm your host of this week, Galaxy from the Instinct Podcast, and I'm joined by the beautiful, handsome, sexy Domenic from the Off the Dome. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right. I'm, like always, very tired and not sleeping well. But today, we got to talk some Valorant, we got to talk shop. I'm excited that International League has finally started, at least with EU and APAC. It's looking pretty good so far. Some good matches, and oh man, it's a great time for Valorant. As we said last week, last week was kind of the lead-in, time. Now we're deep in it, right? We have the MSF. We have International League starting up. We're getting some good stuff going on. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, so far, now, like we said last week, it has been kind of boring. But now starting this week, now we're all just ramping up competition after competition, roster changes. Tier 2 and Tier 1 scene on all regions just going at an all-time high. But yeah, cannot wait. We got a few news points going on to talk about. There's some pretty interesting news has been going on. So if you want to start off with that, Domenic.
Yeah, so the first thing I kind of want to talk about is the mid-season face-off. So by the time that this video comes out, which should be on Friday, that should be the end of the mid-season face-off, the 31st. So we won't be able to talk about exactly what happened during that time, but as of right now, we have the upper finals, which is M80 versus the Guard. In the lower bracket, we still have Oxygen TSM and Moist Moguls G2. So let's kind of talk about what's been going on so far. M80 has been proving that they are, again, the best team here so far. They did drop one map to Moist Moguls, which, again, they're looking pretty good, as I said early on. But again, it's close, but still M80 is the best team so far, winning their maps 13-9 and 13-10. Then we have on the other side, we have the Guard doing amazing stuff again, beating FaZe Clan and Oxygen. Not exactly front runners, but still very, very solid teams. In the lower bracket, we have Oxygen, TSM, two teams that are good. TSM is likely to continue further, as well as Moist Moguls and G2. Both kind of in that next level, almost there in contention, but it's really the two main guys, M80 and the Guard, competing for that top spot. I think what's really interesting is that the winner of this midseason face-off only gets circuit points, right? They get 10 and 6 respectively for 1 and 2. And going into the next split, you get, again, more distribution for the circuit points, which all lead into that major playoff, which just goes into seeding, right? I think it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes up. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think this has as much weight as it does in terms of the view of public opinion of who is better, M80 or the Guard. But I think it's going to be great because these two teams have yet to have such a monumental battle like this, right? This is the last time they saw each other. The Guard took M80 2-0. And so they have a chance here to not only win it in upper finals, but even run it back potentially in grand finals. So I'm excited to watch that. I'm excited to see who goes there. I think that these next couple of matchups really determine the pecking order in the MSF, the Challengers League for North America. So I'm excited to see how it is interesting. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this so far?
All the teams that I had qualifying actually got eliminated. So I had a lot of upset going on into it. So I had this guys pulling off a few upsets, making it a little bit further. I'm a little surprised and a little disappointed that they kind of got out the way they did in a pretty stirring fashion. But surprisingly, they did better than I expected. They did better than Shopify. They at least qualified for the MSI. Also, I expected M80 in the Guard to be this far ahead. I mean, it's since literally the beginning of the VCL, we've been saying it's a two-man race between M80 and the Guard, and so far we're still correct. I saw a lot of confusion. People think that this is a qualification for for Ascension. No, this is just for more points, so you can qualify for the next qualifier of Ascension. If that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
A little confusing, but that's how it really works. The matchup that I'm most excited for is not M80 for the Guard, is Moist Moguls and G2, because those two teams have been kind of really hot lately. In group stage, they were really hot, even towards the end. Even in playoffs, so far, they've been pretty good. I mean, I know Moist Moguls lost at TSM. Oh, no, they lost to M80. But they looked really, really strong against TSM. It felt like it was one-sided when it came to against TSM. And I can't wait to see them move on. I really do hope Moist Mogul will make it far. I don't know if they're... I can see them get second place, maybe, but I don't know if I doubt they're gonna get. But if they get top 3, I feel like my opinion, I feel like that's a W for Moist Moguls. But for the most part, I'm really excited.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely the ceiling of that team is like third, maybe second place. Because they are an incredibly consistent squad, but they don't have that top-end talent from what it seems like, at least. They still have a lot of time to grow and develop. Again, their core is really good. We kind of been over this a lot when they were first, showing up and doing all these things. I think Thief, Proto, Brock, all amazing players. Fly a Sim, again, nothing to sneeze at. They don't have necessarily the biggest names in the game, well, except for Ludwig and Critical. But I think I'm excited for that team. I'm excited for that team no matter what they do.
Yeah, I'm excited also. I feel like surprisingly, Moist Moguls really turned it up. I feel like in the beginning, the group stage, they looked really, really messed up. They lost a few crucial games, but recently they've just been on a hot streak. Minus of course losing to M80, which is no surprise. They've been just dominating for the most part. They just look really strong. They look well coordinated. Sim looks like he's out there to prove himself. Also, a Proto just looking at his old self, his old LG self. So it's really interesting and really nice to see. For the most part, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, and again, we'll be able to talk about the final conclusions from that next week. But for now, let's start into the beginning of the EU and APAC VCT.
Yeah, so I've been watching a lot of the APAC and EU EMEA VCT. So far, it's been pretty strong. And so when it comes to the APAC region, I'm kind of not shocked. I feel like the standings so far, it goes. So it's only been one game everyone's been played, so take it with a grain of salt. But so far in the first week, DRX, Genji, Paper X, Team Secret, T1 have all won their games. So it's just they looked really strong out there. I feel like those were everyone looked at that as the top teams in the Pacific region. For anybody who doesn't know, this is this for franchising. Essentially, think of it as the MLB, NBA, or NFL. They play specifically the NFL. They play once a week. It's a best of 3 series, and if you're a top 6 seed, you qualify for playoffs. So that's essentially how it works when it comes to the franchising. But overall, it's been really, really good. I feel like a lot of these teams have innovated a lot, and they've just taken a lot. Especially, I feel like Pacific, they kind of took a big hit during the lock-in tournament, which I felt like it was kind of underwhelming and kind of disappointing how hard they got a hit. But I feel like in Pacific, they look like they're really innovating a lot with the tech. Surprisingly, I have not seen much Gecko. I don't know why, but EMEA has been running a bit of Gecko, but when it comes to Pacific, they still have not been trustworthy when it comes to that. I know Harbor has been a huge impact on that region as also. So it's going to be interesting seeing how other regions copy each other or take ideas from each other to just qualify. But so far, I think it's been pretty good. That's at least for the APAC region. And for EMEA, it's been a bit tighter. I'm not going to lie. Navi are 0-1, and they lost to Koi Esports. Everyone had Navi as the best team, a top 3 team in the world, not even in the EMEA. And they started off the team with a loss. And as of this recording, they're down 0-1 against Giants Gaming, Team Subway, for the most part. But
is that they lost to? I didn't see that.
Yeah, they lost to right now they're they're down 1 map against Giants Gaming. But right now they lost to Koi, which looks surprisingly good. Also, a little bit surprised of Team Liquid. In my personal opinion, I don't think the team was always a good roster. I think they're a best a 7 out of team roster. I don't feel like the players kind of meshed with each other. It didn't make sense. So they actually lost to Foot Esports. So far it's been pretty interesting. I'm sorry, they lost to Vitality, not Foot Esports. I think it was Vitality they lost to. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Heretics lost to Foot Esports, which also I'm very surprised. I had Heretics as a very good team. I'm very disappointed right now how they're playing because on VCT Lock-In, they had a very bad showing. I feel like they were just all over the place and it was not coordinated at all. And then I was watching that game also. They just didn't look well. So I don't know what's going on there, but they do need to fix it up for next week. And hopefully they fix it up. But for the most part, I can't wait. Overall, the arena, by the way, the production has been amazing. The arena they play in has been fantastic. I am very excited. I'm very proud. I'm very happy to see what franchising has to provide.
Yeah, no, it's looking good so far. I've only got a couple of matches here and there. I've been trying to keep up with the standings, but overall, it's looking pretty good. I'm personally excited for when the North America starts, because I think that's kind of the most I'm invested in. But hopefully, as like my semester's winding down, we'll be able to catch more games just in general. I will say I'm not necessarily an EU fan, which is kind of weird to say. I'm more of a fan of APAC and the Pacific. I don't know. A lot of the teams, a lot of the players there, I feel like I like a lot more. DRX specifically, I love their style of play. It's very meticulous. So I've tried to catch more of the Pacific games than I have the EMEA games. But I think it's going to be interesting either way because there's way more competition. It's proving to be just as impactful as we thought it was going to be in terms of the competition at that level. Having the best players in the best league all competing against each other is that competitive, right? There's upsets already happening. EMEA in shambles, knowing that Navi, Team Liquid, some of these monumental teams are losing to fucking Koi esports. So I don't know. I'm excited to see where this shit goes.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. Of course, NA starts in, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 3 days. So for starting recording this Wednesday, they start this Saturday. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, so I can't wait. So next week we'll update you guys on how the VCT. Of course, we'll be dabbling a little bit in the EMEA and APAC region. We'll just talk about it here and there, but we'll be mostly talking about the NA region just because we're from here, and also that's the best time we're all like both of us are able to watch it. But yeah, we'll definitely give you an update, like a week-to-week update on everything on all the 3 regions, but mostly NA right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can just let me quickly go over the America League's matchups for this weekend coming up, because it comes out on Friday. Matches start Saturday, April 1st, April Fools, because we have Sentinels versus 100 Thieves as the first match, the inaugural match of the whole league, which I think is a statement, right? We have Sentinels, we have 100 Thieves, two of the most influential teams in North America, both historically and currently. Tens, Saucy, Pancata, Depp, Zekken. They've kind of been, stuttering a little bit as they played through some of the tournaments recently. The lock-in went out round 1. 2 Fnatic, though, which ended up winning the tournament. Makes sense. But again, with the Ludwig Invitational, they didn't win it overall as a franchise team, which kind of is tough to see. Additionally, on the other side, we have 100 Thieves, which also had a bit of a rocky lock-in. Every map going to 2-1, or every game going to 2-1. They didn't play as well as we thought they were going to be, so both these teams have something to prove going into the first match here. Next up after that, we have Crew versus Furia. Crew getting back Kesnet, which is amazing. Furia doing pretty well on the Brazilian stage, so we'll see how that team goes as well. Sunday, we have Loud versus MIBR, the Brazilian battle. Loud coming off a second place performance at lock-in. MIBR not doing as well, but seeming more competent than we thought, so that's going to be a good matchup. Evil Genius versus Cloud9 is going to be one of the matches to watch because these are both proving grounds for both teams. Cloud9 having dropped Vanity and Ye, two of the best North American players, and they're going in with who? They're going with who? TBD. It was Rooney and I'm thinking
Bean Boy
Rooney
or something?
and Jakey, right?
Oh yeah,
Jakey or Cooper, one of the two.
Yeah.
So that team they made some very interesting roster changes. We'll talk about more of that later. On the other side, EG has their 10-man roster experiment. So we'll see how that goes. The final Monday match is Leviathan versus NRG, which is going to be probably the match of the weekend outside of like the narratives. Because, again, Leviathan looking like an amazing team. Just through and through, they proved at lock-in that they still have that high ceiling. And probably the best, one of the best teams in all of the American League. Going up against, and again, one of the potentially best teams in the American League's NRG with that core of Optic, with their few other pickups artists. You have Som on there. Som, again, proving he's that guy. So that's going to be a great matchup. Check that one out. We'll come back with you next week and let you know how that all went.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be interesting. Of course, I've had Leviathan. I've been on the Leviathan hype train all before the lock-in tournament, so I can't wait for that. But, I got to represent our North American boys in NRG. So hopefully that goes on. I am interested on how EG and Cloud9 is going to turn out. It's going to be interesting because EG has... I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they did get out in the second round. They beat Team Heretics, but they got out in the second round, which, surprisingly enough, they did very well. They did surprisingly well than I expected. I had them out in the first round. So, and then Cloud9, yeah, we're going to see these two pickups actually... prove that they were right, or if it was a mess up dropping Ye and Vanity. That's a big matchup.
Yeah.
Also, Yeah. And also, Sentinels and 100 Thieves. That's gonna be a big match. I think it was smart of them to start off with an absolute banger. Two big North American orgs going at each other with with a lot of star power also onto it. So yeah, the NA franchising first week is gonna be really good, spicy one.
Hell yeah. Now let's wrap this up, this new section, with some roster changes.
So we have a few roster changes. If you guys don't know, when it comes, it's all in the tier 2 scene. So if you guys don't know, Vanity has now gotten a team, and it's not a franchising spot; it's a VCL spot. He is now on Shopify Rebellion. So he's the new IGL for Shopify Rebellion. If many of you don't know, Shopify Rebellion kind of bombed out of the group stage when it came to the VCL, and they did surprisingly very poorly. I think they dropped Dazzle, was it? I believe they dropped Dazzle for the Vanity, and also they added T-Dog, but T-Dog as the assistant coach. So T-Dog is now there as the assistant coach. So on paper, everything looks really good. I'm excited to now see. I mean, they did look a little shaky and a little off the whole at the end of the group stage. But I mean, adding Vanity, of course, a top IGL in NA, something that they probably was needed. We already know they have a lot of firepower. They have B-Dog, they have Mata as top fraggers in the VCL. So adding him, and then adding that on top of T-Dog, who was on 99 strength and really made a name for himself in the open bracket, and just overall a great mind. You know, he's a friend of the pod, so shout out to T-Dog. Hopefully I see that team flourish. I know, just picking up T-Dog, he's a great, smart player, very hardworking. He's been playing the game a lot, and having another IGL as a coach really helps out, you know, with team strategy. So I am actually very excited for Shopify next the split. It's gonna be really interesting.
And yeah, they're gonna have to make another run through the open bracket, which I think is gonna be interesting. You know, it's a 1-game elimination for a little bit. So hopefully the Shopify can buckle down, bear down, and get it done.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. I think Shopify is really good.
Yeah. The other major roster change news comes from Disguised Toast picking up another Valorant team. He picked up a women's team, but not the traditional women's team. Let me pull up the tweet from here. Instead, what he did was he picked up, he did some investigation, because he started out by saying, hey, I'm looking for the best free agent women's Valorant teams, women's Valorant players. And what he ended up doing was taking the best players that he's friends with. But the way that I say it like that, and that's kind of how it was seen, players are Quarter Jade, Kaide, Sidion, Truly Tenzin, sorry, and Tupperware with the coach Ruin. So Tupperware and Ruin are traditional game changers players. Meanwhile, Quarter Jade, Kaide, Sidion, Truly, Tenzin are all streamers. Now, when you first look at that, and this was kind of the backlash it got, where some people were like, hey, I thought you said you were picking up, you know, traditional game changers players, the best out there. How can we pick up all your friends and streamers? Disguised Toast actually clapped back himself and said, hey, like, originally I did want to do that, but with not that much time and a very diverse field that is the game changers, there's not a lot of consistency outside of the top end talent, he decided to go with something that's a little more safe right now and see where it goes from there. And that being said, Quarter Jade, Kaide, Sidion, Truly Tenzin are all high-level Valorant players. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Immortal Plus, if I'm not speaking too hard there. These guys are all very good players, and they're all making an effort to actually do well in these. And personally, I think that this is a good thing for the game changer scene. Although, yes, it would have been great to have just a traditionally backed team of players, similar to how he did with the tier 2 version of his team. I think that having a game changers player run team that has influencers on it is a great thing for the scene, because again, it gets more eyes on it, not just from, you know, a perspective of, hey, Disguised Toast viewers are going to be watching this, but all of these guys viewers are going to be watching this, and how they develop from there. Perhaps they start slowly switching out players. That'd be great, you know? Either way, I think this is a good thing for the scene, and I'm excited to see how they do.
Yeah. I mean, I was also very, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit like taken back. I was like, I had to like take a double take. I was like, Quarter Jade and Kaide, I didn't know they were in they were even interested in professional scenes. So I was pretty interested in that. But I know Kaide's sign was with 100 Thieves and a consecrator, as a consecrator. I don't know if that's going to conflict with Game Changers. I mean, I know 100 Thieves don't have any affiliation with the Game Changer scene, so I'm guessing that they just doesn't matter. But I mean, I also feel like the Game Changer scenes doesn't have much eyes, and having someone like Kaide and Quarter Jade, very big, one of the bigger streamers in the Valorant scene as a whole, not even the female side, but or like the women's side. I think it's just like I thought of it as like a big W because I always also felt like Game Changers, like not many eyes were on it. I know there was like a lot of like there's lands and all that. Riot does a really good job of promoting it, but there's still not many eyes. But having Quarter Jade and Kaide, specifically them two, on there, I always thought that was a W. So when they were getting the hate for it, I just never understood that. It made no sense why they were getting hate because you're adding more attention to a scene that doesn't have that much attention. It's very simple. I felt like it was that. I mean, it's not like that, but when Shroud joined Sentinels, it was very massive. It's like, oh wow, like the viewership went skyrocketed every time Sentinels would play. So it was something like that. I mean, I know he was a former professional CS:GO player with Cloud9, but I'm just saying like it's just like something like that where you have a big name, like always attention, and also. Another thing is, even if you're playing against them, your the viewership is going to be high, so that means your name is going to be on there. So if you destroy them, that's a good profit on you guys. So I never understood the fact that why people were getting so angry. Just win, forehead. I don't get it.
I think it has to do with like the major tweet that I saw was about how it's like it's publicity, but it's not the good kind of publicity or the good kind of viewership you want to see. And I don't think that's necessarily the case, just because I think that again. Game Changer is a very top-ended talent. If you're not specifically in the scene, if you're just a fan of it, players like Mel, like Fluorescent, all these guys that are much more like famous for winning. Mel, 7-time champion, played for Cloud9 White, now on V1, doing amazing stuff, always on the desk. It's great to see. It's great to follow her and her team. But I think you do kind of have these like personality-centric scene because there's so few kind of consistent eyes and there's always so much variability in these teams. I think that having a team like this kind of gets eyes on it in general. And from here, I don't know how exactly he wants to progress this team, but he can, start making adjustments and changes, picking up players, getting more eyes in general on the scene. And I think that's a great thing. It's a great way for like empowerment in general, right? Having these amazing players. And even if like, I wasn't a big fan personally of Shroud playing, like, from like a competitive perspective, you can be like, oh, come on, Sentinels. You're just like, just going for a money grab. At the end of the day, they did pretty well. And you know what? It wasn't necessarily like sacrifice in integrity. Sentinels is now in franchising because of that, right? I think things like these keep the scene interesting, keeps the whole show, fresh, but in like a good way, not in like a controversy kind of way.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I never understood like the backlash. I think people are just jealous. I saw like a few comments where people were just like, just stay mad that you're bad, but it's all about fun and jokes. But I don't understand like it's just like guys, I only see this as a positive thing. Like, of course, Disguised is not really, like, an official org. It's still run just by Disguised himself. Just, like, literally just one guy running the entire org. So it's just more just, like, a fun little team. But, like, you're still adding viewership. You're still adding eyeballs to a scene that does not have as much as you would like to see. So I feel like this is a big booster. So I think this is a W. Disguised really, like, did a good job on this. Yeah, so that's what for the news point. And now we have EcoForce. Are you ecoing in? Are you taking a little save? Or are you forcing? Giving us your hottest, craziest take.
Start us off hot.
You know what, Dominic? I got you. I got with an eco. Okay. I'm going to give props to Riot Games franchising studios. I don't know if you saw it. It looked amazing. Genuinely, the stadium and the entire stadium for the... Not stadium, but like the stage for the field for the franchising has been amazing. I like how for the Pacific, it's really nice, like a nice little like next to each other, like the 5v5, and like the audience is looking at each other. It was really, really entertaining to watch. But I gotta give big props to EMEA. There was like this Coliseum looking area where the people are on top of you, and like it's a small circle, so they're on top of you, and you're like in this Coliseum looking studio. I don't know. I'll send this to. I'll send a picture of this to show you guys. But like, if you saw videos of it and just saw the picture of the studio, like the stadium or stage, it looked amazing. Like, they blew it out the park when it came to that. I'm actually pretty interested on what Riot's gonna do for North America. As of this recording, we don't know, but I'm actually really excited to see what they have for it, because so far these stages have been killer. Like it makes me so interested to watch the game. It's not just like a standard, here's 5PC, here 5PC, sponsorships in the background, all right, go play. Like they really went all out when it came to this one. So props to Riot. They're my eco for the week, but they did genuinely, they blew it out of the park when it came to stages.
Yeah, I hate giving them credit for doing a good job, but they did a good job. I have to admit it. It's pretty cool. I just, I'm just like, I hate when big corporation does a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, they're an indie corporation right now because, they need a little help but they can. So giving them all the attention they need would help them out. But yeah, that's my eco of the week. So Dom, what do you got for us this week?
All right. I got a big force for us this week. Huge. We were talking about the corporations, and we finally found our first industry plant. And in the industry, though, is the world. And that is Rabbi Bill Clinton Kid. We've seen him everywhere on Twitter this past few days. I know it has nothing to do with Valorant at all, but maybe it does just a little bit, So if you don't know, back in the 2020, late 2020, late 2022, early 2023 Game Awards, during the conclusion, the Game of the Year, a speech was given for, I believe it was Sekiro?
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. And a kid walked up and gave a speech before being hauled off and I'm pretty sure arrested, or at least fined, talking about he'd like to thank his Rabbi Bill Clinton. But since then, he's everywhere. There's a video where JaVale McGee's at a football game, and he's like, man, this kid won't stop recording me. Like, what is his social media? He flips around, it's him. Kai Cenat will be walking down the street, and he just appears behind him, and he's like, dude, where the fuck would you come from? Again, Kai Cenat was he's like meeting, greeting. He's disguised in Mario costume just to catch him off guard. He gives Speed a jersey signed by Messi, like a real jersey, I'm pretty sure. And there's a clip going back as far as, I believe, 2019, during a Clippers game where he's holding up a Clippers jersey, trying to get shown. And then right when the camera goes to him, he drops the Clippers jersey, and it's actually a Free Hong Kong t-shirt. And the camera literally pans off him, and it's the same kid. So this kid, I've concluded, is a clone. I'm forcing up, seriously though, because I think things like this are so crazy. This Nardwuar-esque style of, just knowing things and being things, being this sort of character of being everywhere, knowing everything, is really funny. And the way he does it, I have no idea how he has the money to travel around, how he gets in there in the first place. But he's growing faster than I could ever expected him to, right? I don't even know who this kid is, but I now follow him on Twitter. I see him everywhere somehow. And I think he's the next one up. I don't know what he's going to do next and how he keeps escalating it, but I just think it's so interesting.
Yeah, no, he's I saw the JaVale McGee thing because the good thing about JaVale McGee, he was handling it super well. He knew everything about this kid. Surprisingly, he's like, yeah, I know about this kid. I'm not giving him the attention of the day. He just recorded him and then just talked over him because I don't know. He was asking him he was trying to instigate him a little bit, and I saw that. Little thing is, I saw about that. Ludwig actually made a video, or he was live streaming it, and he talked about he was actually in the Streamer Awards. He was trying to get into the Streamer Awards to hijack it essentially and try to do something with it, but security caught him and kicked him out. And
damn.
Crazy thing is, he tried to go to Hassan and ask for an autograph, but Hassan didn't give him the attention of day. I don't know what the reason exactly was, but he just didn't give it to him. And it turns out it was the kid. He literally was trying to get into the Streamer Awards, but he couldn't. And it was the funniest thing because how does he have where does he get the manpower, the income? How does he just is everywhere and everywhere? It's kind of it's genuinely impressive. I'm kind of curious where else he's going to be. I don't know if he's going to be in the next congressional hearing where they're trying to ban TikTok and you'll just see him there in the background. So it's going to be interesting because I have no idea where this kid just pops up everywhere. And I saw him on TikToks. I saw him on backgrounds of some TikToks. I saw him on podcasts, random ones. I'm like, where the fuck is he? You know what? I kind of want him on the weekly Defuse. We should get an inside scoop on why he does what he does. and see what happens. Because I'm very interested in this kid also.
Him. We'll have to go and find him the way that he finds other people, and we'll like appear in the back of his videos.
Oh, like he's like starting to record something. I don't think he actually posts videos. I don't think so. Does he actually does he have a YouTube channel or anything? Because I don't think so. He does.
He does. His YouTube channel just recently hit, if I'm not mistaken, 1 million subscribers. But
no, he is. No, I do believe he's an industry plant. It's kind of crazy because I can imagine like you're going to like, of course he's based in NA. Imagine like you're about to see Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses. They're about to walk out, and then the kid just walks out with them. You just see him like waddling right behind them, just standing behind there menacingly, because he's just able to get there behind them. I just want to know where he gets his influence and just this timing. I feel like Nardwuar could actually learn a few things from him, because if any of you don't know who Nardwuar are, please look him up. Genuinely one of the best like music influencers, journalists kind of thing. But Nardwuar is generally one of the like such an interesting character with a lot like great videos. I believe you all would love his videos. Look up Nardwuar. Great guy. He's exactly like somewhat like what this kid is. I think his name is Mateos or something like that.
It's Meton Evan. At least that's his YouTube channel, 100,000 subscribers. And also, I also forgot he showed up at the Denzel Curry concert, and Denzel Curry let him do some bars.
What? He
was brought onto the microphone at the Denzel Curry costume or Denzel Curry.
I'm so confused. How is he able to do all this? I think Harvard needs to study this. Like medicals. Nah, they need to study how this man is able to enter any event he wants to and get in there easily. But that is an interesting thing. But
that's my force for the week. My force for the week is me. I'm the force of the week because I'm gonna put myself on blast. I think I'm a jinx. I think that what's that?
I think I should. I'm a very big jinx when it comes to at least playoffs and all that. I was hyping up Turtle Troop being one of the most underrated teams in the world in NA as a whole. They get out of group stage. I had FaZe Clan. I'm like, you know what? They can beat G2. They get absolutely smacked around by G2. I had, who was it? I believe it was. I had G2. I was like, no, G2 is going to easily beat Oxygen. They lose 2-1. I had Disguise. I was like, no, Disguise is a very underrated team. They're better than TSM. They lose. All of Lock-in. I had, no, it's going to be NRG and Leviathan. Like, no, there's no way any other team could beat them. They're top dogs. They both get out. They don't even make it inside the playoffs. I think I'm a jinx. I believe that every org should fear me. And also, even though I had EMEA, I was like, they're going to go 5-0. They're going to smack around the guard. They get better every game. They get absolutely smacked. And they go 4-1. I mean, they're fine now, but I think I'm a jinx, and I think I'm here to I'm here for consulting, and I think I'm here to accept that I'm a jinx.
Yeah, you should start telling people. People will just start hiring you to like tell them your opinion, and then they'll just do the opposite.
Yeah,
I think the opposite.
Betting companies should come up to me. I feel like they'll make a lot of money. Just tell me to just say things, and they'll pay me, and then it'll happen. Because I feel like I get it wrong about 80% of the time.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you just gotta start doing the opposite of what you would do, you know? And that's how you start. Become Dark Ennis, but then Dark Ennis is just better Ennis.
Ooh, so you think I should just say like opposite of everything, and then let's see if it like reverse psychology my jinx?
Yep, just switch all your ecos to forces.
Ooh, okay. We'll do that next week. I'm not gonna say which is my eco, which is my actual eco, which is the actual force, but I'm gonna do it for next week, and let's see what happens. But yeah, that's my force of the week. It's me.
Damn. All right, I'm ecoing. I've been very positive the past few weeks. I give a lot of forces. I'm always forcing up because I'm a big fan of a lot of things people are doing. But one thing I'm ecoing on is bag chasing. I'm selling. I'm playing it safe because the industry, the Valorant orgs, all these teams are bag chasing, and by that I mean they're not picking up the clear best player in the world sitting on the sidelines ready. As of this week, I saw a thread by Commend saying that, due to the rules of the VCT, with a pure exception of an emergency sub, Ye is unable to play in a majority of the VCT. Ye being probably the best player in the world, circa last year, proving he's still at that top level this year, and is unable to join a team. maybe just because of his inflated salary that Cloud9 gave him. I think at the end of the day, he just wants to play. You know, he would rather play than just sit on the sidelines and do nothing. I'm not really sure what he's up to during his off time. Maybe he's playing CSGO too. Maybe he leaves us all, and that is our fault if he does. But if not, I hope to see Ye back in some capacity. Maybe he joins up on an MSF team, a Challengers League team. Maybe he joins a pre-existing one. But he's just there for the taking. I think he's, again, one of the best players. He is a little bit more like, you know, you have to build your style around him a little bit more. Not because like he doesn't plug and play, but because he is such an offensive force that it feels you have to acknowledge that at least. I think that's something that kind of kept teams away from signing him with their pre-built roster. He's not much of a plug and play guy. But I think if Ye can fuck around and find a team, build his own team maybe, or just wait in the sidelines for something, I want to see him back playing in some way. So I'm selling on all these teams, not picking him up. This is so dumb.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Vanity get picked up by Shopify, so it's able that franchise player is able to go to a tier 2. Honestly, I mean, the thing is, the only teams I know the teams that he wouldn't join is like, of course, Shopify. They already have a solid 5. He's not joining that. Turtle Troop, they're on that unsigned team because as of now, the whole XQC thing got dropped, so it's not happening anymore. So there's no more XQC X Valorant team now. That thing got dropped. So, to be honest, I could actually see him join Disguised. That would be the only, I feel like, logical option. I feel like every other org has a very solidified like core they want to stay with. But Disguised, they're pretty flexible. I know they got rid of Exalt for, I believe it was Riku. And they said he was just playing for the rest of the thing. But I know he's a controller, so that would make no sense. But because if you looked at the gameplay, you had Steel on KO opping. So that was an interesting thing. I guess they have no clear opper. So it would make sense. Hey, you need a clear opper. You have just a top 3 player in the world just sitting on the sidelines. Why not just pick him up and have him go ham on split 2? But I feel like Disguise would be the type of guy to just throw a lot of money onto him just to get him on the squad, just to get him a lot of points. Because I believe they didn't get many points this whole thing. Yeah, they got, I believe...
They got 0.
They got 7 points total. Like overall, they only got 7 points.
Oh, from the
in the midseason, they got 0. But when it comes to the group stage, they got 7 points. So they're already falling behind. They got 8th technically. So they already fallen behind. To catch up, I feel like why not just pick up Ye? I feel like you can mold that squad around. I know you want to keep the core, but I mean, in my opinion, Ye is just sitting there. Why not pick him up? I feel like Disguise is the only team that I can think of that would. But yeah. That's.
I think the other team that could definitely consider it is Moist Moguls, just from the perspective of, again, they have an amazing floor raiser, but they kind of need that ceiling raiser. And I think if they wanted to go bold, I don't know if this would fuck with the chemistry of the team. Replacing Sim with Ye, I know they may or may not have the money, especially with Ye's inflated contract. But maybe they'll make some promises. I know he was repping the Moist Moguls when they were first announced. He had Moist Ye on his name. It's just a joke. But hey, make it a reality.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know if that's going to work out. Because, I mean, I feel like I don't know if Sim is going to be... I don't think Sim should be replaced. He's playing out of his mind right now. I feel like he's showing off the raise. I feel like he's one of the main reasons why most Moguls have been so dominant in the recent games. So I believe that they're... I don't know, maybe like... That's what I'm saying. Maybe have like a run a 6-man roster on Moist Moguls, but I feel like right now Disguise is the only team that I can think of as of right now that could. Maybe because I know FaZe, they already have Ye. Not FaZe, I mean the FaZe already have Dicey. So then
FaZe, yeah.
Oxygen, I feel like they already have a core there. TSM, they just got Kenpeki and they're doing really well. I don't think they're gonna drop anybody there. And Made in the Guard, there's no way any roster changes are happening there. Maybe Mad Lions, I could see. Because they kind of did really bad. But, you know, it's Mad Lions, but...
yeah.
Yeah. But that's, it's going to be interesting to see. I think that's, but yeah, that wraps up EcoForce. We have one more segment just before you leave. We have one more segment. I think, Dom, you want to introduce it?
Yeah, so we talk a lot about power rankings in terms of, like, the grand scheme of it all. But I think what I want to do is put it on a more smaller scale and have you just a little bite-sized, tier list. So I want you to rank these teams from 1 to 3 and tell me how good do you think they are, how bad do you think they are, what is the ranking, if they were all to play in a tournament, where would they go? So I'll give you the names, and you can take a little bit of time to think, right? This is worldwide as well. So the first list I'm going to give you is Sentinels, NRG, 100 Thieves. Rank them 1 through 3.
Okay, so 1 being the best, 3 being the worst, correct?
Yep.
Okay, I have NRG as 1, 100 Thieves as 2, Sentinels as 3. As in the recent showing, NRG looked very solid. I mean, you can look in the VC lock-in. I feel like minus that 1-12-11 round against Loud, if they maybe won that round, they would have made it qualify. They would have qualified, but I feel like they pushed Loud, a world championship team that made it to second place, and again, they blew against Fnatic, but they pushed them to the edge. They're I think the only team to ever push Loud to the edge, minus Fnatic. I think they just look extremely solid. I feel like they just need more time to mesh, and I feel like this whole qualifier is this franchise is gonna be good. 100 Thieves. They, in my opinion, beat the best Chinese team in EDG, which EDG was no sleeper. I know they got out in the first round, but they were no joke. They showed that they came to play. So I was very excited and ecstatic to see how they play. I mean, I believe they got out in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, for the most part, they showed amazingly. And Sentinels, as you said before, I remember you said earlier in the episode, they have been a bit lagging behind when it comes to the team. I feel like there's just no... It's not the chemistry and the players not meshing well. I just feel like there's no set play style. Of course, Sentinels were known as this team where we're just gonna play like ranked, or we're just gonna run around and we're gonna play through tens. But I feel like after having a core squad, you're having a lot of star power, just like Zekin. You're having Pancata, you have Saucy, and you have a great IGL in depth. I feel like they still don't have that play style to really mesh through. So as of right now, I have them as number 3.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. I think the only caveat would be, like, I don't know, if you see Sentinels doing better by the end of the season, whether that's, how they progress, how they mesh a little better together, but like more time will help them figure out their identity crisis. But I think as of right now, NRG, 100 Thieves, Sentinels, good ranking. Number 2, I got another one for you. Cloud9, EG, M80.
Okay, this is a little bit tough. I'm going to give it a little bit of a hot take. I think M80's won. I know I've been loving M80. They've been a great squad. I know the squad. And I think the whole roster just looks amazing. Especially their coaching staff is on another level. So I have M80 as number 1. I feel like they are a franchise team. They're just unfortunately right now in a predicament where they just have to go through the NACL. But I have them as 1. I have Cloud9 as 2. So with that, I know we roast them and joke them about like how the uncertainty of the team, but EG is very much the uncertainty. They have a 10-man roster, and I don't know what a 10-man roster is and what that can achieve. In my opinion, just gonna cause a lot of discourse. In my opinion, I don't think 10-man roster. I feel like 6-man rosters just barely work. So a 10-man roster just doesn't make sense to me. But I feel like with the new 2 pickups, I feel like they're going for more of a... it maybe like... who was it? What was it? Jackie, I believe, was the player. He's a collegiate player. So seeing him, maybe he might prove us all wrong. They're actually something that they saw that we didn't see. And Riku, I believe he was played for Sonic, if I'm not mistaken. Like the longest time. I feel like he was always a solid player there. But I feel like maybe the pickups were pretty good. I know everyone was roasting him. It was like, oh, you dropped Vanity and yay. But maybe for what they had and what they were offered, I think this is a somewhat good replacement. Not get me wrong. This doesn't fill the shoes of Vanity and Ye in the slightest, but it was a good substitute in a sense. And yeah, so I have M80 as 1, Cloud9 2, EG 3.
Interesting. All right, third one. This is a bit of an international classic. Leviathan, Navi, DRX.
Okay, and this is like the hardest one. I'm not gonna lie. I love Fernando. He's a friend of the pod, CEO of Leviathan. I love him. He's my boy. But I would have to give, from what I'm seeing and what I saw from so far, I would have DRX as 1. See, Navi is a very good team. So they're able to... I know they have potential to be really good because they showed it in Lock-In. They look amazing in Lock-In.
But it's that loss,
It's that a loss. It is. I have DRX as 1. I think I'm confident in that one.
Okay.
I'm going to have Leviathan as 2, Navi as 3, because so far what I'm seeing in franchising, they have not been looking the brightest. I know Leviathan has a really hard first week against energy, but if they win, that's a big up on them. I know they have a lot of potential. Seeing them in Lockett, I know they lost. Believe they lost to Loud, if I'm not mistaken. But they lost in like the right before qualifying for the playoffs. I think they were a good team. I think I'm gonna have DRX 1, Leviathan 2, and then Navi 3. I feel like it's a little bit of a hot take one, but I feel like that's my take on that one.
I think that was acceptable. That was probably the hardest one I crafted. Actually, no. This one's the hardest one so far. Are you ready? This is the hardest one. Level 4, the last one I got for you.
Okay, gotcha.
Fnatic.
Oh.
Loud.
Okay.
And Who Cars, the Danish free agent team.
Shout out to Bo, because he's the biggest representative for him. So
hey, I'm just saying, I picked three in the same echelon, so who
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea who's in Who Cars. They're probably a very good team. They're probably a very good team. I feel like Loud should have won, in my opinion. Loud should have won the whole lock-in. They had a chance. They blew a 11-3 lead. They should have won that. You know what? I think just Who Cars doesn't have the spotlight. I feel like they're just a dominant team. I'm going to have them as 1. Fnatic as 2. Okay. Loud as 3. I feel like Who Cars doesn't have... I think they're undefeated in international events. Have you seen them lose? I haven't seen them lose. So,
they are undefeated. They recently placed 6th in the Challengers League North European Polaris Split 1, not making it to playoffs. But you know what? They were just sandbagging.
I think they just wanted to give them they wanted to give them a head start everybody else, but they're gonna turn up next split. I feel like that's for my ranking. I feel like that's most accurate. I feel like I'm most confident on that one.
Yeah, so I think that's a great place to end it right there. Shout out Who's Cars. Shout out Bo.
Shout out
the boys. Shout out Bo.
Shout out the boys at Rendezvous. But yeah, I think that's everything we have for this week. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys check out our content, check out our Twitter, Off the Dome and Inting Podcast. More content coming on the way. Make sure to follow us on everything. If you have any questions you want us to answer, more than happy to comment down below or DM us on Twitter. Everything. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. And let us know who you guys think is going to win for the first week of NAVCL. But
yeah, it's just me hype.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.
See you guys.